Hello and welcome to our preview of and prediction on Arkansas and LSU in the College World Series. You can catch that on ESPN 6 Central on Saturday night. I'm joined by Graham Doty and Holy Buckets, without a Hawaiian shirt today, Jay Greeson. Gentlemen, looking forward to seeing the rematch of a regular season series that we got a few weeks ago. That one went down in Baton Rouge. LSU won it 2 out of 3. But, hey, lots going on since then. Looking forward to seeing these teams rematch, Jay.
Completely agree. And it really feels like a lifetime ago. I mean, that was the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3-game series in Red Stick that was late March. I'm not even certain of my kids' names from this time compared to late March. So I know a lot of LSU folks are going to say, well, we got them 2 out of 3. That's pretty meaningless, don't you think, Graham?
It was a month ago, by the way, Jay, when these two teams last played each other. But I mean, it's I think it's going to be a battle. I think these teams are going to play each other twice.
Yeah,
in Omaha.
So do I. Maybe more, but although can you play 3 times in Omaha in the bracket? I guess you can't do that. But anyway,
if they were on opposite brackets, they'd be playing each other 3 times.
That's true, and that's the way I wish this tournament was set up, because I think these are the best 2 teams in the tournament. All right. The last time these 2 teams faced with these same starting pitchers, which I presume Arkansas will go Zach Root and LSU will go Kade Anderson, since that's the order they pitched in the regional, and to flip it around would be starting somebody on less rest. Root went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts. Anderson went 5 2/3, 7 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. So both these guys were pretty good. Anderson's been really good for the most part. Struggled a little bit after that complete game against Oklahoma back on April the 3rd. Next couple starts were rocky, but since then he's been great, with the exception of the West Virginia start in the regional. Don't know if that means he was running out of gas. Don't know if it was just so unbelievably hot that weekend, which was absolutely a factor in the just baseball element. But anyway, that's how it's gone. He's been great almost all of his last half dozen starts. Root has been kind of up and down, had a rough patch in the season between Florida and LSU, and in between was great against Texas. Had a rough start against Tennessee back on May 15th, and then another one at Ole Miss. But the last 2, Creighton and Tennessee, he's been great. Again, with Root, it's a lot about controlling emotions. What do we think of the pitching matchups here, Graham?
The best in Omaha of any game, head-to-head of any of the 8 teams. To me, the key for Arkansas, and you just alluded to it, Root, he's going to be amped up. Adrenaline's going to be going. I don't think it's going to be as emotional as like what we saw against Tennessee, and in particular that Andrew Fisher matchup. I just think he's got to settle in.
Dude, Beaches was less emotional than Zach Root. Against Andrew Fisher. It was F-bomb. I thought he was going to put on Andrew Dice Clay's leather jacket and just start throwing. I mean, he was throwing as hard with his arm as he was with his mouth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I went back and watched that at bat. I didn't realize, like, watching it live, after every pitch, Fisher was doing something, looking in the dugout.
I didn't know that either.
Like riling up the fans.
Okay.
If you go back and watch it, like, you'll see it. Like, that's a big reason why Root was really fired up. But to me, this pitching matchup is going to be incredible. Like, sign me up for this one. Anderson, Root, they were both really, really good in the regular season against each other. I'm kind of expecting something similar. I don't think this will be a high-scoring game at all.
I don't either. And in terms of the pitching matchup, I think both of these coaches completely, at least mentally, are embracing what Chris said, that this is the first of 2 meetings. If one team gets out in front, maybe they hold a little bit back. But I think if this is a 2-1 game after 7, both these dudes are shoving chips in.
Yeah.
Here comes, because you got to win. If you win this one, you are in the driver's seat to get to the best of 3.
Absolutely.
So, hey, Ianson, go get your arm loose. Case and Evans, go get your arm loose. This ain't the time that you get the Wednesday starter who works 4 innings.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of college baseball for a long, long time. I know we all have, but it's always been, until recently, I haven't been on the day in, day out discussion points of it. But this has always been a fascinating tournament for me. I think I cannot recall a first game that is more meaningful in terms of everything that's at stake for the winner of this.
I agree,
Yeah.
especially recently.
Well, and both teams' lineups are really coming around. Arkansas's has been, I think, more consistent top to bottom than LSU's, but LSU, some of the guys that had been struggling for them, relatively speaking, started to hit better in the regionals and the supers. I'm going to get to those guys in a minute, but just a quick reminder, support those who support our channel, Game Time Sidekicks. I use their products all the time. That's my favorite. I've got a 40-ounce tumbler. I've got one of these. They are works of art that you can drink from. There you go, Jay Greeson. Excellent job. Stainless steel, incredible quality. We can read you all the details, but just trust me on this one. Try it for yourself. GameTimeSidekicks.com. Promo code SE16 gets you 10% off your order.
Stop me if you've heard this lead in before, but I got a story about my actual Game Time Sidekick cup, which I got yesterday in the mail. So this morning, my daughter is playing across Hamilton County in Chattanooga traffic. Well, let's just say sucks. So we leave an hour early. Her basketball game's at 9:25. We left. We made a couple stops. We left more than an hour early. I poured myself a cup of coffee to go in my Game Time Sidekicks cup. We got to the gym. We were about 30 minutes early. Left my coffee in the car. She plays an hour-long basketball game. Get back to my car, and it's still hot. So we can sing the praises of the ice retention, but it also has the heat retention. And I don't know how this cup is smarter than me, that it knows the difference between hot and cold and which one it has to keep in. This is miracle stuff.
Yeah.
I think NASA, when they made Tang and Velcro, made Game Time Sidekick cups. And they just have scooped in and got the patent.
I like it. Well, whose offense do we like best in this one? Arkansas's was a little bit better on the balance of the season. Both hot going into the tournament. Like I said, LSU, I think Curiel and some of those guys hit better than they did in the regional. Bear Jones has come around. But Arkansas I just feel like most of that lineup just hasn't stopped hitting for a while now. And I don't even know where to start with. I think, Jay, it's probably your guy, Charles Davalon. Like, that guy is so versatile. He gets on base. He doesn't strike out. He had a big bomb off Liam Doyle that was probably the biggest hit of Arkansas's postseason, given the time and situation. Who do you like here, Jay?
I like Arkansas for 2 reasons. You touched on the first one, and it's Charles Davalon. And I'm mistakenly, sorry, Arkansas fans, I love y'all on my Twitter, even when you use curse words, and it's not, boy, you are a bleeping good-looking guy. I know it. Hey, it's okay. But Davalon is the perfect blend of emotional spark plug without being a jackass. Does that make sense? Because we've got some jackasses in college baseball. Pardon my language. There are a whole lot of dudes that it's easy to read some lips, and you're watching a baseball game with your 14-year-old daughter, and here comes, okay, what did he say? He said he'd like fudge with that guy after the game. Hey, can we get some fudge? Do you want to go get some fudge? Get the fudge off the field. So maybe he dropped fudge all out of his back pocket. I don't know. If he had fudge in his back pocket, that's a mistake because the weather's warm. And then you're running the risk of what may or may not melt in the back of your trousers. So, hey, I get it. Charles Davalon is a great balance of that. He brings unbelievable energy to the top of that order, and he is an impossibly tough out. I mean, I said it last week when we were having this conversation. I completely understand all the flowers Aloy is getting because of the position he plays, because of the numbers he posted. I bet you Dave Van Horn would vote Charles Davalon their most valuable player. And just because of all the energy he brings. The second reason I like Arkansas's lineup better, Chris, is this single word. It is relentless. 1 through 9, every single person up, you're going, holy God, that guy's hitting 312 and he's batting 8th in the SEC.
Yeah, and I feel like LSU found a little bit of that too. I mean, Stanfield at the back of the orders is a better 8 or 9 guy than most people have. And there's a lot of lineup talent. Dickinson's going to be probably a second rounder next month. Curiel's going to be a first rounder 2 years from now. I mean, it's kind of a beauty pageant for both of them. But I'm kind of with you guys. I think Arkansas has got better balance in the lineup on the whole. Now, I will say this. Jake Brown can be a game changer for them. He had some big moments in the series, in the Super, and Ethan Fry, maybe until the last game or two of the Super, was about as hot a hitter as there's been in the country. He has skyrocketed up draft boards. Luis Hernandez had a big game. I think he had 2 bombs in one of the Super games. And Stephen Milam, just every time LSU needed a big hit, it felt like he got one in the Supers, just wearing out that left field line between getting home runs there and doubles down the line. So I think LSU, to me, has closed the gap a little bit in the way that it played the last couple of weeks or maybe the last week. But Arkansas, I feel like, was more consistent top to bottom on the season, guys.
Here, offensively, here's what I'll say. The numbers, they're almost even. LSU has a slight edge in doubles, triples, stolen bases. Where there is separation between the two is home runs. Arkansas's hit 23 more home runs than LSU. Now, they both hit a lot. They're both over 100. But if you're looking for a gap, there it is with a home run ball. Now, how much of an impact will that have in this ballpark in Omaha? We'll have to wait and see, especially, I mean, the wind is a factor in this ballpark. If it's blowing in, good luck trying to hit a bunch of home runs out of that ballpark. These are both really, really good offenses. I think LSU, now they did struggle at certain points, especially down the stretch, but I think that they're hot offensively coming into Omaha. To me, these are 2 of the better offensives of the 8 teams left. And the difference between the 2 is going to be the home run ball in favor of the Hogs.
And I just was looking up just because this is a star-studded. You made me, Chris, you mentioned something about future picks. And, I mean, only Mel Kiper's doing, like, MLB draft boards for 2026 and beyond, I guess. But do you know that on MLB.com, both of the starting pitchers for Saturday night at 6 are among the top 43 prospects in baseball?
Not a
draftable prospects.
Yeah.
And Kade Anderson has moved to 3rd, ahead of Jamie Arnold, ahead of Liam Doyle, ahead of Kyson Witherspoon.
Yeah, and there's some 1-1 conversation with him too, by the way, and I think it's justified. And another thing, I don't think we've ever really looked at these as we've done our previews, but I was just thinking, like, is there something here that's kind of hidden? Because, like, Omaha's a big ballpark, right?
Correct.
You get one past the catcher, and that's an easy base, and maybe 2 if it takes a bad bounce. Same thing at first. LSU this year made 41 errors. That's pretty good. It had 11. Yeah, it had 11 pass balls. Teams stole only 36 of 49 bases against LSU. So those are all pretty good numbers. And I'm looking for wild pitches because that's another element of this. And LSU threw 64 of those. So Arkansas's numbers there. teams were 45 of 55 stealing bases against Arkansas. That's a little better than I would have thought. 6 pass balls as a team. That's excellent. And Arkansas threw 50 wild pitches. So it's like you've seen games walked off in Omaha with a wild pitch or a pass ball. Just something to keep in mind. Arkansas is a little bit better in terms of those things. And Arkansas had 33 errors on the year too. So defensively, not a shock, but a little edge to Arkansas here.
50 pass balls and 6 pass balls and 50 wild pitches makes me think that the catcher's mama is keeping the scorebook for Arkansas.
Yeah, you might have a point there.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Arkansas, it's been Arkansas and Vandy. They've kind of been back and forth as far as the top defense in the SEC this season. Now LSU has a good defense too. You got to give credit. I'm pretty sure it was Caleb in one of our chats recently. This has been LSU's best defense, like fielding percentage wise, in a decade in Baton Rouge. So this has been a really good defense for the Tigers.
I don't know about that. That defense with Tyrann Mathieu creating all those turnovers.
Yeah.
That defense was salty.
That was salty. All right.
Honey Badger don't care.
No, he did not.
Maybe my favorite internet clip that's not hosted on Southeastern 16.
That one's a great one. Speaking of which, NIL, could you imagine what he would have done NIL wise?
See, I'm just waiting for the Newton versus NCAA lawsuit that reincorporates athletes before 2010 or before 2016. Because, brother, Cam Newton had made $50 million in his 1 year at Auburn, Alabama. There has never been, not since the New York Yankees paid the Boston Red Sox $100,000 for Babe Ruth, has $180,000 ever been better spent than Auburn getting Cam Newton.
How about Tim Tebow?
Tim Tebow would have been up there, but I mean, I don't know how much he'd have taken. And he then given it to all those
Jay, he would have taken.
He didn't give it to the Philippine kids who he went and helped circumcise, and that's no skin off his nose. So I mean,
the look on Chris's face.
Made myself.
Didn't have a Tim Tebow circumcision on the show notes, but here we are.
Hey,
you're welcome.
We may have to start passing out. Game time sidekicks, man, start putting out Greeson bingo cards on, hey, what's going to be said here? So, I mean, nobody thought or skin conversation was going to come to the forefront. So, I'm going to snip this in the bud. I promise. The athletes, just think of the athletes in the 20th century. What Reggie Bush? Reggie Bush got a house, and that was when it was illegal.
Yep.
All right, we'll run a couple of spots back.
Get us back on point.
To bingo cards. Who's on Jay Greason's bingo card to win this one?
I'm going to make all of my Arkansas faithful happy. I'm going with LSU's arms.
Yeah, and that's what Vegas thinks too, right, Jay? Like the up to date. I know going LSU's into it.
Well, and to your point from the very beginning, Chris, these are the two favorites to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, of the 8 teams, both of these are the favorites. And yes, the last time I looked, I'm going to double check because it's 12:30 Eastern time. On this Tuesday, I just want to give the odds will change because of the money that comes in. I just want to give as close to the best as I can. LSU is plus 300, which means wager 100, win 300. Arkansas is plus 350. And then there's a sizable jump next. And I know we'll break down all the other brackets, but Coastal Carolina is plus 600.
Yeah, those would be the top 3 teams that I have without a doubt. in Omaha. So this matchup, I mean, that tells you how close Vegas thinks it is, like almost essentially a coin toss between these two. I'm with Jay on this one just because LSU and their pitching. I think these two teams are going to play each other twice on this side of the bracket. I think whoever comes out of this is going to end up winning the whole thing. But to me, the difference, slight edge to the LSU pitching staff.
Yeah, I'm going there too. The one thing that Kade Anderson has struggled with too is the home run ball, which Arkansas hits a lot of, but it's a lot harder to get him out of TD Ameritrade than any venue they played in. I guess it's Charles Schwab now. I think this is a coin flip. I think the combo of Anderson and probably Case and Evans is good enough to do it. The defensive part does worry me a little bit in terms of picking LSU, but I'll ride with it. LSU was my pre-tournament pick to win the whole thing, and I'll go with the Tigers to win game one. We will talk about the whole bracket in a separate video, who we're taking to come out of this side, and we'll also talk about the other bracket too that contains no SEC teams. Anyway, to get that, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, enable your notifications. We'll do live stuff during the tournament. We'll have draft stuff coming up. We got football content, basketball content coming out all the time. So make us your home for SEC news and analysis. For Jay Greeson and Graham Doty, I'm Chris Lee, your host here at Southeastern 16. God bless you. Enjoy your NCAA baseball tournament, your College World Series portion. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.